I think you're amazing.
You are too, Henry.
Thank you so much. Well, Perry, you are awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and I appreciate you what you're doing too, buddy.
Well, thank you. Because if you allow the world to define you, if you allow friends to define you, if you allow your spouse to define you, or anybody to define you outside of how God sees you, that does open the door to rejection. God bless you. I hope y'all have an amazing day.
Thank you, Brother Henry.
Thank you.
God bless you too. Thank you for having us.
All right, everybody, welcome back, or maybe welcome for the first, if you didn't, for the first time. This is a two-parter, and welcome to Brother Henry and you. Thank you, Brother Henry, for inviting me to be co-host. I'm Catherine Toon. And last time we talked about embracing the season you're in, and part one, and embracing the constancy of change. And we talked a lot about that, which if you haven't seen it, it will really help you. And I would actually recommend you do that before you do this. But if you're here, and keep watching. Okay. We're going to be talking about embracing the season, and we're going to talk about the constancy of God. Yay. Aren't you glad? Because the world is crazy. And in a lot of ways, we're crazy. Like we got, I don't know, how many of you, okay, I'm sure it's just me, but have crazy going on inside. Like there's just genuine crazy. And there's different levels of crazy going on inside. But, you know, there's lots of change, lots of things that can be stirred up. Maybe you're in a crazy season. There are external crazy, there's internal crazy, and you know what? God gets to be with you in the midst of all of it, which is what makes it endurable. You know, last time we talked about the constancy of change in you and what things to embrace. If it's from God, if God is authoring it, something that He's working in you. And if now, granted, you need to understand who God is. He's good. He's not going to author something evil and call it good. Okay. He's not, he is good in the way a healthy 4-year-old would define good. He doesn't send cancer. He doesn't send tragedy. There's things you can learn from all of that. He doesn't send abuse. There's things that can happen that are good that can happen in the midst of tragedy, in the midst of all of that. But that doesn't mean he's the author of it. So let's get our basic theology right. He's good. He's love, all of that. But he does ask you to do hard things. Yes, he does. And so just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not God, but you are called to do hard things because you are a champion. You're in the image and likeness of him. But he's not sending you hardship for torment, just to suffer for no, if you're going to suffer, get some gain for your pain. And God is the one to help you, whether it's something sent by him, get you out on the other side, or if it's something that wasn't sent from him, help get you on the other side. So either way, you know, we're going to have to embrace things. We're going to have to either embrace change and use it to flourish more and more, or when we reject all change, we end up becoming less than who we are. Now, some change you need to reject, right? It's just a thing because that's not from God. But if it's from God, the fastest way is through just do it. So let's talk about the constancy of God in a crazy, crazy world where the rules keep on changing and the changes change. I mean, it is whiplash, okay? But let's talk about God. God is a good God. He is love. His wrath and his justice are for the purposes of love. Justice is just a part of his nature of love. His wrath is for you, not against you, but against things that are not of you, that are harming you. So we need to kind of get clear that God is for you because who you are is good. You don't have a sin nature. Jesus actually did something on that cross, but we do a ton of sinful stuff and it's worse than we know. Okay. And so he's passionately against the sinful stuff because he's really passionate for you, right? Okay. And so we start from this place that he's for you. If God be for you, who can be against you? I'm looking around, not seeing anything, right? Compared to God, really, right? He that did not spare his only son, how shall he not with him freely give us all things, right? Who can lay a charge against God's elect? It is God who justifies. Who is he that condemns? So condemnation is not of God, but there are some behaviors and things and ways of being that are destructive, and those puppies are evil and they need to go. That doesn't mean you're evil. They need to go because you're good. Okay. Just trying to get that foundational understanding so we're not cooperating with the wrong things, or we're not feeling condemned in the process, but we're also not giving us free license to harm ourselves and harm others, right? Okay. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3:11. This is so gorgeous. Okay. And very much a part of this nature of God who is constant. It says, he has made everything beautiful and appropriate in its time. He has planted eternity, a sense of divine purpose in the human heart, a mysterious longing which nothing under the sun can satisfy except God. Okay. Yet man cannot find out, comprehend, grasp what God has done, his overall plan from beginning to end. So, you know what? There's a lot of things that's happening that is kind of beneath our pay grade. Like, you know what? That is what, we have to be humble and just realize that we're on an as need to know basis. And there's a lot that we may want to know. And that a lot of times that's actually a self-protective mechanism that God is after, like you need to know everything. No, you really don't. You need to trust. And then God will reveal to you what you need to know. And that takes a lot of work and healing if a lot of trust has been violated. But that's ultimately what God is doing. But he's a beautiful God. Okay, let's go to Psalm 31:15 and 19. It says, I believe these are off on the Passion Translation. It says, my life, my every moment, my destiny, it's all in your hands. So I know you can deliver me from those who persecute me relentlessly. Lord, how wonderful you are. You have stored up so many good things for us, like a treasure chest, heaped up and spilling over with blessings. This is God, the one that created you and loves you, all for those who honor and worship you. Now, I'm just saying the ones that don't honor God and don't worship God, God is still for them, but they're disconnected with God, so they're not partaking of everything he has for them. Listen, if you have a gift for me and you're chasing after me and I'm saying screw you and giving you the flying finger, well, the gift is still mine. You're still chasing after me, chasing after my heart, and I'm not receiving the gift. And we can't point to God and say, well, you're so unjust, right? No, it's like I'm not receiving what he's wanting to give. Everybody knows what you can do for those who turn and hide themselves in you. Now, let's talk about this turning and hiding themselves in you. So God is love. 1 John 4:8 and 16. God is light. God is truth, right? And when we turn away from love, light, and truth, what are we reaping? Well, we're reaping fear, which is really the opposite of love. We're reaping darkness, and we're reaping lies and false delusion. We're reaping bondage, because where the Spirit is Lord, there is freedom. The Spirit's everywhere, right? I mean, omnipresent, this is basic, right? But where we're not yielding, okay, there's not freedom. Because it's where the Lord has lordship that there is freedom. So when we're running away from him, this is a problem. And what does God do when you run away from him? Well, he's busy, like, honey, I'm still here. I'm okay. When you're ready to turn back, I'm still okay. You insist on doing that. Okay, I'm still here. I still love you. Okay, now that's really bad, but you need to knock that off because that will hurt you and hurt other. Okay, you're going to insist on doing that. He's constantly staying with us, right? It's impossible to shake God. I wrote a chapter in my Marked by Love book. Actually, I'll show you the book which you might want to get, because this will actually really help you. It's called Marked by Love. I know this is backwards, and I'm sorry about that. It's on Amazon. in paperback, Kindle, and Audible. So anyway, and there's a free chapter on my website. So go to catherinetoon.com and get that. Anyway, that will help you with this. But in this place where I wrote a chapter called Annoying Relentless Love. That's why I brought it up in my head. Annoying Relentless Love. I was running away from God and turned away from God, ran away from God. And he was like annoying there all the time. Like, oh God, you're still there. Yeah, honey, I think you're adorable. You're an idiot right now, but you are adorable. Okay, all right. So when I finally got the brainchild to turn back towards God, and instead of blaming him for the tragedies in my life, instead of pointing the finger at him for letting these horrible things happen or not allowing the good things happen, which is how I saw it, or how the ways it felt like he wasn't there in tragedy. Well, when I finally turned towards him and started hiding in him, that is when I started to heal, and you can too. So this is trust only. Oh, wait, sorry. Everybody who knows what you can do for those who turn and hide themselves in you. So in this change, if it's a bad change, if it's a catastrophe, whatever that is, turn to him and hide yourself in him. Sometimes it's just too much. Like I say that a lot in my prayers. I'm like, Jesus, I'm just handing this to you. This is way too much for me. I can't handle this. But I know you can with me, and you'll empower me to do what I think I can't do, right? Okay. God has joined you to himself. Ephesians 1:4 and 2 Timothy 1:9-10 talks about him choosing you and joining you to himself before the foundation of the world. Like, wow, because he loves you. What child do you create? And you're like, okay, off you go. Bye-bye. Good luck with that. No, he loves all his kids. He's with you, and he understands what we're going through at every moment. Let's go to Psalm 62:7-8. This is you tracking with the constancy of God in a world that's changing, a crazy world, right? God's glory is all around me. His wraparound presence is all I need. Yes, for the Lord is my savior, my hero, and my life-giving strength. That's him. That's him for you. That's him for you, regardless of what you've ever done or not done. Okay. Trust only in God every moment. Tell him all your troubles. Pour out your heart longings to him. You see, this is about connection. And you see, God is constant. He doesn't change. God has forgiven all sin for all time. So when you go to him with your sin, here it is, right? And he's like, okay, baby, you're forgiven. Now let's not do that. Let me help you not do that, right? Let me peel off shame. Let me peel off condemnation, and let me help you not sin anymore. And if you fall down again, we'll just come back to me. I did it again. I hate it. Icky, get it off. It's okay, right? And he will help you. This is why you run to your Father who loves you, who will not condemn you, who will not put shame on you. He's after tearing all that stuff off so you can be who you are. Okay, so this is God, who is the forgiver of sins, not the punisher of sins. So let's talk about God as a constant God. He's forgiven. His mercies are renewed every day. Why is that? Because we need mercies renewed every day. Right? And his tender mercies. So when he's merciful to you in whatever sinful, evil stuff you're partnering with, that you're doing to yourself or others, or just maybe ways you're thinking about yourself. Maybe you're just putting yourself down or ragging other people down or whatever. Just go to Facebook for 5 minutes. You get it. Okay. So with that, with that and turning to him, he's forgiven you. You don't punish what you forgive, but he's also not going to whitewash anything. He's also true. But in the place of what is true and what is wrong, what needs to go, you're not going to be condemned. So you run to him with it, because you can't do this thing on your own. Okay. And neither can I. And with that, you can count on him every single time for eternity. Okay. So let's go to Numbers 23:19. This is the New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. Sorry, that's impressive. Just the title. God is, verse 19, God is not a human being that he should lie, or a mortal that he should change his mind. Has he promised and will he not do it? Has he spoken and will he not fulfill it? And so just the answer to those questions, no, he has promised, yes, he has promised and will not do it. And he has spoken and he will fulfill it. Okay. That's God. Let's go to 1 Samuel 15:29. And this is fascinating because this is the Old Testament. So there was a revelation even during the time of Chronicles and 1 Samuel about this unchangeable God, right? Okay. So it says, verse 29 from 1 Samuel 15, moreover, the glory of the Lord will not deceive or change his mind, for he's not immortal that he should change his mind. So God's not wishy-washy. And if you're getting mixed messages, one of those messages is not from God, at least one of those, because he's not, and he's also not indecisive. Like, well, maybe it's like, well, God is really not wishy-washy. He's actually really sure, and he will just tell you flat out. So grapple with it until you get a sure answer that you know, and yeah, that's God. That's my peace, right? Let's go to Psalm 46, 1-7. This is a New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. Verse 1, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in time of trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth should change, though the mountains shake into the heart of the sea. Does anybody feel change and shaking of mountains, so to speak? You know, this is allegorical, guys. So just let's not, and I guess if you're in an earthquake, it's not allegorical, but you know what I'm saying. Though the waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble, and I just lost my place. Okay, sorry. I lost my place at trembling mountains. Okay, hold on. And shake into the heart of the sea. Though the waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. There is a river. This is the river of God, whose streams make glad the city of God. Okay. So this river, this is this Holy Spirit in you. You are the house of God. Okay. You are a holy habitation of the Most High. It says God is in the midst of the city. It shall not be moved. God will help it when the morning dawns. So there's this river in you that somehow when everything's crazy, that will hold you stable, that will hold you steadfast, that will hold you when you don't even know what to hold on to, right? The nations are in uproar. Anybody seen that? The kingdoms totter. We got so many kingdoms that are just all over the place. He utters his voice and the earth melts. Now, this is not a punishing God. So to get that imagery out of your mind, because this is not a God imagery, but he is powerful. Some things need to melt. Okay. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Think about that. Let's go to Malachi 3:6. New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. Sorry, that title just cracks me up because it's so long. For I, the Lord, do not change. Therefore you, O children of Jacob, have not perished. God doesn't change. He's upholding you. And where we perish is where we're not tracking the God, right? And so this is where, but he is upholding you. Always, always. When we're faithful, he's faithful. When we're faithless, he's faithful still, because he cannot deny himself, right? I'm so happy about that. That one just helps me out so much, because I'm like, the other times I don't have enough faith to believe myself out of a paper bag, but I'm glad you're faithful, Jesus, right? And then the mother of all of them, that's really helpful, Hebrews 13:8, New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. You can count on this God of love. You can count on a God of truth when you're so confused you don't know which way's up. You can count on a God who is love that casts out fear, where you're terrified and you don't know which way is up, right? You can count on God as light, that he's good and in him is no shadow of turning, and that we can run to him in the light with our crap. We can run to him in the light with our fears. We can run into him in the light with our quandaries. Our grief, our whatever we got. Come into the light with it, so God can heal it. God can help it. God is our refuge and our fortress. He's there to help you. He's wild about you. He doesn't change, but he's not going to let you be less than who you are. So in running to him, realize that there may be things he's going to ask you, give that to me. Yeah, that idol that needs to go. Not good for you. But I've got something better for you. Yeah, he does that. Yeah. All right, guys. I hope this has been a blessing for you. Thank you, Brother Henry, for inviting me. And I hope you share this with a bunch of people who need it. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Well, Perry, you are awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and I appreciate you what you're doing too, buddy.
Well, thank you. Because if you allow the world to define you, if you allow friends to define you, if you allow your spouse to define you or anybody to define you outside of how God sees you, that does open the door to rejection. God bless you. I hope y'all have an amazing day.
Thank you, Brother Henry.
Thank
God bless
you.
you too. Thank you for having me.